Welcome back. You're listening to the Emily Rooney Show. That sweet riot of noise in the background, you're hearing it right now, is the band Hallelujah the Hills. They've been making music for most of their lives and records as a band for the past 5 years. I got a hold of their debut disc, Collective Psychosis Begone, some years back, and it immediately went into heavy rotation in the Almond household. I was captivated by the band's strange blend of the dreamy and down home, and by the beautifully odd lyrics of songwriter Ryan Walsh. The band has gone on to release 2 more records, and they've toured the country more times than they probably want to remember. Lucky for us, they always have to come back to the Boston area, and so we're delighted to have Ryan Walsh with us this morning, along with his stand-up bassist, Nicholas Ward. And I mean by this, both that Nicholas is a stand-up guy, and also that he has brought a very large and somewhat intimidating stand-up bass. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So you can tell they're big talkers, folks. All right, let's hear a Hallelujah the Hills original from the forthcoming record, which I just learned the title of, the forthcoming hypothetical.
That
it's in the rotation.
I was trying to describe what it could be, but now that you suggest it could be the title, I'm kind of hooked on that.
All right, let's hear a track. What's it called?
Well, we're going to do Introductory Saints first.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Gentleman, he said forever, so we can talk about it till it's all akimbo. And if it's true that we've all forgotten something, you can take a memory pill, and you can reconstruct the past with a sail and a mast, and we'll float on into the sunset. Phones are wide open. Introductory saints, you are the secretary of my security, and I'm the czar of whatever it takes. And darling, one of us is one of them. Watch your weapons, 'cause there are those who do covet. And the last thing we need is an obituary feed that scrolls the names that we all know. So if it's true that we've all forgotten something, you can take a potent memory pill. Then you'll remember why you're here, and you'll cry in your beer, 'cause the next week is gonna be rough. Our phones are wide open. Introductory saints, you are the secretary of my security, and I'm the czar of whatever it takes. And darling, one of us is one of them. Secretary of my security, and I'm the czar of whatever it takes. And darling, one of us is one of them. You are the secretary of my security, and I'm the czar of whatever it takes. And darling, one of us is one of them.
Awesome. You are listening to WGBH Radio, online at WGBH.org. I'm Steve Almond, in for Emily Rooney. That was Hallelujah the Hills singer and songwriter Ryan Walsh, along with Nicholas Ward, his stand-up bassist. The song was Introductory Saints, and I'm just going to go ahead and claim the title, The Czar of Whatever It Takes.
I feel like that's...
I'm seizing it from you as a title of nobility.
I think, it ties into the Constitution.
It's a constitutional issue. That is a forcible seizure.
I feel like the combination of your first two guests kind of you put the Constitution together with men's issues, and you kind of got Hallelujah the Hill songs. So
Plus an occasional dose of tiny towns in Texas.
Yeah, right. All right, absolutely. And beards. You're rocking a beard over here, not visible on radio, but both of you have got really significant and impressive facial hair. The music is, and I don't say that lightly, gentlemen. The music is fantastic. What do you do when people ask you to describe it? Because I hear so many different things. What do you do, Ryan, when somebody says, "So you got a band? What kind of stuff do you play?"
Yeah, well, the terrible thing is to list other bands. No one wants to do it. So I have found that a good trick, or a genre, is to list the instruments we have in the band. So I just say bass, trumpet, cello, keyboards, samples, drums, and I just list
Flugelhorn?
Yeah.
You just go on and
I
on.
list everything in the band. And one time a journalist listened to me, and he listened to all that, he paused, and he goes, "Name a genre."
Rock music.
Yeah. Listen, pal, don't you go mixing those genres. But this must be something that you encounter all the time, because Hallelujah the Hill's music and the Stairs before that, you guys were a part of a band called the Stairs, and some members made it to Hallelujah the Hills. Really, you can call it pop music, but it's got a lot more, and you could say Americana, and you could say folk, and you can make a whole list of genres. But what is enticing about it for me is that it defies easy categorization.
Well, that's a tremendous compliment, and I think that's something I aim for, to try to get something new on the page.
Right.
And it's it sounds lofty.
Yeah.
But
you're the
I just
czar
try to-
of whatever it takes, Ryan. You do those things. You
I
make
feel
it
like
happen.
I am the czar of whatever.
Where does the name? This is a silly question, but where does the name of the band come from?
Well, we stole the name from art.
You don't say steal. You're an artist, so you appropriated it.
Appropriated for sure.
It's an homage.
It's an homage.
To an art film shot in Vermont in the '60s called Hallelujah the Hills, which after a long list of band names I just grabbed, and the filmmaker who made the film.
Ergo the title filmmaker.
Thank you, Steve. Anyways,
Maker of films.
a few years ago, he's a professor now, or was. I'm sorry, he's passed away. But his assistants emailed me and says, Adolphus knows about the band, and he's gonna sue.
I love it.
And
that is like the least lucrative lawsuit of all time.
Right. And he was convinced. And then his assistant convinced him it was a loving tribute, and there was no money to be had.
Yeah,
and he was fine with it.
Loving tribute. He's probably like, yeah, kid. I'm an experimental filmmaker. I need to dough. Oh, there's no dough there. All right.
I was a little disappointed, actually. I feel like that lawsuit could have done wonders for us.
Right, kind of
great.
a showstopper.
Yeah,
That's right. Well,
courtroom theatrics.
Mm-hmm.
I see you guys as potentially, rather than offering testimony, you would just actually put on your instruments and do a musical rendition of your testimony.
Yeah, we'll sing our way out of this problem.
yeah. I'm
as
on
we
board.
do most problems.
I love it. Now, you guys spend a fair amount of time. I know you've been in the studio, and in fact, you've got to tell the story of what's going on with the forthcoming hypothetical, the new record, because there are freaks like me, and there will be an increasing number of freaks. If anybody hears this beautiful music on the radio today, who are going to want to know when the new record is coming out. What has been the genesis of this project?
Well, we decided we'd put 2 albums out on a label, and then this time we needed to do a fan-funded project with that website Kickstarter to raise funds to record it ourselves, which is something that a lot of bands, small and large, are doing more and more. So that was a learning experience and really fun. And then it ended up getting picked up by a label. But
So how does it work? You got to a certain level
So
with
we're-
the funding,
yeah,
fan funding?
we record it. We're mixing it now. We get some label interest. We're like, oh my God, that solves a lot of these problems. And then indicative of the state of the music industry, they closed up shop last week. Because
the label
The
did.
label, yeah.
You know how to pick them. Or maybe they know how to pick you. Wow.
Oh gosh.
Wow. So where does that put things?
It put things where we're
Hypothetically,
we're a good
think.
story. We're I don't know. That's we're gonna mix it and then figure out what to do. It's a forthcoming hypothetical, Steve, as you know.
It is a forthcoming hypothetical. Well, on that note, I feel like we need to send out the call. This is a vast and very wealthy listenership. I must say, I mean, they're all loaded, and most of them are record producers. So let's hear another tune. I would love to hear another song from Hallelujah the Hills, or at least Ryan Walsh, the front man, singer man, songwriter, and Nicholas Ward. Yeah, 2/6. That's right. Or we could even break that down further and say 1/3 of Hallelujah the Hills.
Yes, we could. I didn't know you were also good at math.
Well, that's one of the things. They give you a small math test before they let you hit the big mic. All right, so let's. What's
this song is from the next album, and it's called "Call Off Your Horses."
Beautiful.
Token fiend you read about in the Bible, the kind that would come and ruin a miraculous scene. And you had the distant privilege of being my rival, and we took the thrill of a fight and turned it into a creed. Call all your horses off, sing out the names of the brave, and rise up from whence you came, and come back to reload rifles out in the rain. Say that you could force a field into your vision and unfurl a banner that reads you are coming with me. So don't think too long, too hard, or ask for permission. But don't buy the myth that nothing's gonna get in the way, 'cause here comes the way. Call all your horses off, sing out the names of the brave, and rise up from whence you came, and come back to reload rifles out in the rain. Call all your horses off, sing out the names of the brave, and rise up from whence you came, and come back to reload rifles out in the. Call all your horses off, sing out the names of the brave, and rise up from whence you came, and come back to reload rifles out in the rain.
Wow. I love it. The dramatic and abrupt cessation of song. That was beautiful. Ryan Walsh, Nicholas Ward. Ryan Walsh, the singer and the guitarist. Nicholas Ward on the extremely large, but quite beautiful actual stand-up bass. And 2/6 or 1/3 of Hallelujah the Hills in studio with us today. We're so delighted to have you guys. And I have to ask, so what is the next step here? I mean, assuming that we do not get an immediate $1 million phone call, what
do you take calls?
We do. We do take calls, yes. In fact, you can go to WGBH.org and just to the Emily Rooney page, our Facebook page, or email us even, EmilyRooneyShow@WGBH.org. So probably it'll take 15 or 20 minutes before the $1 million pledge comes in. What do you do in that intervening time before you have actually made the $1 million? What's the plan for getting the record out?
Well, we don't know yet, and that's going to be both nerve-wracking and fun, because there's a...
Describe the fun part of that. For me, that would just be pure anxiety.
Well, there's so many ways that a record can come out now. I remember when I first started making albums, if the end product wasn't a shrink-wrapped jewel case
That's
CD, I didn't think it was a real release. And that's no longer the case at all. People release albums on USB sticks or just online. No one knows what's going on, and that's a fun area to be in.
Well, you like that. I mean, really, what's so amazing about Hallelujah the Hills, the music, is that it's a band that is interested, it seems to me, in sort of dislocating the listener a little bit. Not in a bad way, but in a way, it isn't easily put into a particular genre. And especially when we hear all the instruments together, there's a real strange, beautiful kind of ambient sound that's happening. It's very rooted in Americana and rock, and you can certainly look at cognates, but it's also its own particular thing. So I guess you have what we would call in the lit biz the kind of negative capability to be able to sort of rally with that much of a change in the plan. But I sure hope, for my sake as a listener, that you guys will, put it out in some configuration, because also the artwork and your previous records has been beautiful, and I do kind of like that physical artifact.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. You have a vinyl collection, right, Nick?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got records with no Hallelujah the Hills albums in it yet.
I know, we'd love to put
Well,
it
But
on
it's
vinyl.
getting there.
That is where the forthcoming hypothetical comes in. It has been great to have you guys in studio, and you can hear a little bit of the music as we go out. Hallelujah the Hills. Ryan Walsh, the frontman, singer, guitarist, and his stand-up bassist, Nicholas Ward, thank you so much for being here. Did we get something wrong today? Did we get something right? Send us an email at emilyrooney@wgbh.org and let us know about it. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, and we check those pages constantly. It's literally a compulsion, and it's a sickness. From WGBH in Boston. That's actually going to do it for us this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow at noon with two of the great thinkers of our time, Deepak Chopra and Leonard, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Mladenov. They will be here to discuss the contentious but respectful clash of worldviews that emerged when an advocate for spirituality forged a friendship with a renowned physicist. Stay with us now for the Callie Crossley Show, coming up next with a preview of tonight's Democratic Senate debate at UMass Boston. The Emily Rooney Show is a production of WGBH Radio, on the web at WGBH.org, Boston Public Radio. I'm Steve Almond. Happy Rocktober.
She was born in Vermont. Well, I'll die in Vermont. Hallelujah, the hills.